Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Build Your Best Life. I am super excited to be here today. I have a very special guest all the way from Texas, Minister Paul Santos. How are you, Paul?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. And we are here today on Reach Out. You know, it's very important that we all reach out to assist our young men in overcoming obstacles to build their best lives. Now, during this month, which is almost over, we have been talking about reaching out for the goal, reaching out for the goal. Everyone should have a purpose, a passion, or something that really drives them to do better in life. Today, we have an exciting topic that we are both excited about. I'm not going to get into that right now. So, Paul, can you please tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you love to do?
My name is Paul, and I like to do a lot of stuff. I love art, making art. I love, I do a little bit of writing, so I like to write. And so I enjoy that. I enjoy serving people and sharing, God's word with people. So I enjoy like stuff like that, and my family. I enjoy spending a lot of time with my family for sure. And I mean, other than that, I mean, it's just all art, family, and friends. That's kind of my life right now.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. But I think he is just, being kind of humble because we've been talking. And Paul and I love some of the same things, and that is kind of stepping up and ministering to young men and helping them to understand that just because they mess up in life or life is not going right, they don't have to just stay there, that they can overcome that and they can build their best lives. They can do what they want to do. They can be just like everybody else. So yes. I think Paul is doing some amazing things. He has a lot of skills that I saw. And so we're going to, y'all just get ready. Y'all going to see a little bit more of Paul around here.
Already, I'm excited.
All right. Welcome. I see Deacon Henry Holmes, Deacon Dan Smith. Thank you for tuning in. And Carol Crockett. I know you know Paul.
Hey, Sister Carol. How you doing?
Karen Miller.
Oh, hey. Yes.
Yep.
You got some family in here. Okay.
All right. You got some backing. All right. Hi, Deacon Watson. Thank you for tuning in. And Yvonne Whitfield. Thank you also very, very much. Now, we're going to get into this topic, and I think you all are going to like this topic that we're talking about today. But make sure that you like and you comment as we're talking today. We like those comments. We like for the word to get out to more and more people. So the more that our comments, what we're saying, this broadcast gets out, the more people that lives we can touch. So make sure that you do that. But today we're going to be talking about the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of happiness. Now, I don't know anybody that does not want to be happy. I'm pretty sure there's probably some, but for the most part, most people want to enjoy life, do those things that are pleasing. Now, I know many of you remember the movie, The Pursuit of Happyness with Gardner. and Will Smith played the part of Chris. And he was a man on a mission. He was motivated. He worked hard. He was intelligent. He had excellent skills, and he was consistent. But sometimes life happens and life will beat you down. But no matter what came, Chris just kept going. He would shift, come around, do something different, because he wanted to make sure that he was able to pursue his happiness, because he had a son that he was raising, and he wanted to be his son's role model and make sure that he was doing those things to teach his son that he could have basic principles and know what to do in life. So it was just such an amazing movie.
Yes.
So Paul, can you tell us about a life experience that went totally off the rails for you, and how did you adjust and keep your movement going forward?
Yes. But first, I like to kind of piggyback off what you said, because like I said, I went back and watched the movie, and I caught something in there that I don't think I caught. I don't think I was even in the mindset to catch this initially, but there was a line in the beginning of the movie where he's talking to his son, and he tells him happiness is a noun. The word happiness is a noun. It's not an adjective. I was like, ooh, it's not a feeling. The adjective, he's like, it's not just being happy. He was like, happiness is a thing, which is the pursuit of happiness. You're pursuing a thing, right? And later on in the movie, his wife, when she leaves, I was like, man, she said, I'm not happy. So I was like, man, she was pursuing the adjective. She was pursuing happy. And when he was pursuing happiness, that's why he had that motivation to do the things that he was doing, right? And so I was thinking about that. I was like, man, that's crazy how, like, if you watch the movie, he's not happy the whole movie. He's not smiling in a lot of the movie. It's a lot of like pushing, enduring, failing, and I noticed that, but he kept pushing, as opposed to the counterpart, his wife, who was like, she gave up because they were chasing two different things. And so anyway, I caught that and I was like, ooh, mind blown, right? So so I had to share that, because I caught that and I was like, man, that hit me, But yeah, anyway, going back to what you were saying about, going a hardship in my life, that kind of things went off the rail. And I think back to when I first started. I do graphic design full time. I work from home, and that's my full time business. But when I started my business in 2014, I really felt like I got in prayer about it, and I really felt like God was telling me to quit my job at the time to pursue this full time, And it may have seemed a little foolish, because I didn't really have a big clientele list. We just had a baby that was born in February, and I am here in August. And guys, I feel impressed to quit my job. And I was like, okay, so I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. Might as well dive deep into this thing, right? So I might as well do this. So I did, and in that obedience, I really, like, when you talk about like things, everything that can go wrong went wrong. That was the first year of me going full time, and I grew up poor. I grew up in a poor family, but my mom always made sure the lights were on. She always made sure the bills were paid, right? Even though we were poor. So when I have my newborn, she's a toddler, she's a baby. Got my wife, I've been married 2 years at this time, and the first few months of me stepping out and doing what I felt like God wanted me to do, the lights get cut off. My mother-in-law comes and visits, and our water gets cut off, and I'm embarrassed. That's the most embarrassing thing. And when I felt like my world was falling apart, I called up one of my mentors, and I was like, look, I feel like I'm doing what God told me to do, but my world is falling apart. Did I hear wrong? Did I do something wrong? Like, I felt like, man, I misheard. And the best piece of advice I got during that time that kind of changed my life in that moment was, I was, here I am at the beginning of the month, worried about things that are going to happen at the beginning of next month. And so one of the things that kind of kept me to kind of keep my pace was, the advice was slow it down. Don't get overwhelmed with the things that haven't even happened yet. Do what you can right now to help you take the next step to get to tomorrow. If thinking about this week is too much, think about today. If thinking about what you can do today, think about the next 5 minutes. Just break it down so that you're not just stuck and you're traumatized and you're frozen, due to the trauma of everything that's going on. But instead, take small steps. And that changed my life. That piece of advice changed my life, and it really helped me get out of that situation.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep. So you had to just chip away instead
Right.
of just,
Yeah, slow it down and just take it what do they say? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
one bite at a time.
Right. So I had to slow it down. And that was my my moment of like, okay, I kept pushing, I kept moving forward instead of just giving up.
And that's great. And so, that's a great example of, like you were saying, did I hear wrong? But, sometimes it gets rough before
Yeah.
it gets better.
Right.
Yeah, but we just have to endure and have that faith, because normally if it's our purpose, God is with us, and that was him that said, hey, go for it. So, he got us. We may not see him at that time he wants to see us, but he's taking us through these steps for a reason. So it's all good.
Yes.
Awesome. Hello, Peggy and Agnes. Thank you for tuning in. So, life is what we make of it. No one should want to go through life and be, just happy with whatever comes, because like I said, every day you don't know, like you didn't know what's going to happen. Some things are going to be just make us smile and just be so happy, but life is going to happen and we're not going to smile so much, but we have to just, go along one beat at a time. So, Paul, what skills do you think will assist our young men in navigating along their journey so that they can be happy and live a fulfilling life?
Is humility a skill? I don't know. I really feel like, yes, I think, I know, especially with nowadays, I feel like when COVID hit, it introduced a lot of new things. And I heard it put the other day, somebody said, COVID introduced us to being okay with fear, with being okay with not just with COVID itself, but with everything in general. I feel like there was more emphasis on the problems than there were on like persevering, enduring, and becoming, and maturing in as people, and I feel like in a world where, when somebody says something we don't like, we want to like, cancel. We just want to like, I want to turn it off. I want to shut you up. I feel like in those moments, like to grow and especially for young men, to be in a society where we're contributing and we're not just taking, or we are contributors to our communities and we're helping our communities grow. I think one of the skills that I feel like is missing as I've spoken to young men and even, just young people in general is communication is one big key that I feel like a lot of young people do not know how to talk to their peers, and they don't know how to talk to their bosses. They don't know how to talk to the people that are older than them. They don't know how to talk to, they don't know how to communicate what's in their mind via email, via written, via verbal. Like I feel like that art of communication is being lost amongst our young people. And so not everybody, but I noticed that's one key thing, especially when you have young people who their first response to a lot of criticism, or if you're trying to help them grow and you're offering advice, they take it as like, why are you hating on me? And then they get very defensive, and then you get into this world of like, you know, where the drastic thing is, a physical fight or altercation, but people get defensive. They don't want to hear it, and they just shut you up instead of learning to communicate and have a conversation. It's just go straight to I'm done. I'm done with you. And then I think one thing for me that I've met young people that come from the same background that I come from is learning to make like good decisions, I guess. Like, I don't know what it is about some young people. It's like and they tell, and I've had young people tell me this is, um, I feel like I want to make the right decision, but I always make the wrong one. And a lot of times it's because they're chasing something that they're not supposed to be chasing in the first place, or pursuing something they're not supposed to. But really, it just comes down to slowing down and understanding, is this decision going to help me or not? And I think those two, like communication and then that self-awareness to like make good decisions, to self-manage and to self-govern, where we're making good decisions that benefit us, not decisions that harm us or others. And so I think those skills of like learning to communicate and learning to make better decisions, I think would go a long way with a lot of the young people nowadays. I mean, this is my opinion.
Yeah, I think those are really, really good. And I think everybody should put humility in the chat, because, you asked, was that one? But yeah, because, I think that you hit it right there, because, if you think back, young people would listen more because they were humble. And even though they may not have agreed, or they had something they wanted to say, they were respectful enough that they would just pause and listen.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not humble anymore. It's just like, hey, if you say something and I don't like it, I'm going to come right back at you.
Right.
Yes, and we know how, again, then you fall into that next one you said, communication, especially when you're on social media and they're speaking into the phones and not always looking to see what interpret it. And sometimes I look at mine, it's like, I didn't say that. So
Yeah.
then that makes it worse. So having better communication. So if something's going on, someone says something to you, they're trying to help, you don't agree, just don't respond when you're angry, but go back and have that conversation. Don't text, don't email, pick up the phone. Hey, you said, is what you meant, blah, 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 because that may not even be what they meant. You might have heard something totally different because your mind was racing because you wanted to respond back and you didn't really get what they were saying.
And I'll tell you one thing too. Like I told you earlier, I grew up in a single parent home, and one of the hardest things for me growing up, because I didn't have my dad wasn't around, was to look another grown man in the eyes and to talk to him and have a conversation, eye contact. I have, my wife's a teacher. She's a middle school teacher, and I substituted last year. And one thing I learned about myself is I'm not an educator, but I noticed that like especially that class that I was teaching, a lot of them didn't like eye contact. They felt very intimidated. They didn't want to look you in the eyes. They would lie to you to your face, but they didn't look you in the eyes when they did it. And it was I noticed that, and I was like, wow, that's another thing, is like learning to look people in the eye when you're saying something to them, or when you're, having that respect, like you said earlier, to respect people in general, peers and older, but look you in the eye and just have a conversation and talk, and not, like you said, be on their phone, and they're having conversations like this, right? like that's the part of the communication too that I feel like needs to be addressed, I guess.
Yeah. But that, that I think that really makes a big impact, the eye contact. And my oldest son, I was a single mom, but that was one thing I taught him. Always look people in their eyes. If you're afraid, if you are embarrassed, I don't care what it is, look them in their eyes. And if you don't say anything but yes, sir, no, sir, however you respond, but look them in their eyes.
Yep.
Yep. Does intentionality and consistency play a role in the pursuit of happiness, in your opinion?
Most definitely, yes. I think if you're pursuing anything else, anything that you pursue, you can't do it without intentionality, and you can't do it without being intentional about that. So I'm thinking of like even relationships. You know, when I was telling my wife as I was going, as we were going having a conversation about this topic, and I was like, you know, when I met her, if I was not intentional about courting her, uh, showing that I'm interested, we probably wouldn't be married right now. You know, we probably wouldn't be together because there was no intentionality about pursuing her. Whether it be a job, if you're not intentional about pursuing the job or the career, you're probably not going to do that thing, because you're not being intentional. You didn't go to college to be a doctor, right? You can't just step into the hospital and become a doctor. You gotta go through the right learning process to do that. And so I think I would honestly say I think I don't think it's possible to pursue happiness without intentionality, and being intentional about as we revert back to the movie, he saw the people that were happy and he's like, I want that. I want that. And so he began the process to, I don't know, do some things for free that maybe would put him at a disadvantage financially to set him up later,
Right.
He was intentional about, when and that spoke to me too, because I'm like, how many times do we hear this generation, it's all about getting that bag, it's all about go get the bag. And sometimes it's like you can go do something that feels like it's a disadvantage, but because you showed yourself to be worthy in that area, it'll actually elevate you more than just pursuing the bag, and so that intentionality will actually, I feel like, will bring promotion. People recognize that, and jobs love it when you are intentional about being a good worker, intentional about, so, so anything that is worth pursuing, I feel like there's a level of like, there needs to be some intentionality about going after it, and really doing it with not just I'm here, but like, no, I'm here. I want to make sure y'all see me here. And you show up and you like make sure it is known. I heard Shannon Sharp, he's a ex-football player, and he was talking about how he's like, I didn't want to just be on the team and be like, hey, people ask me, do I start? He's like, I wanted to make sure that when you turn the TV on, he said, hey, when my mom turns the TV on, that's my boy up there, He's like, I wanted to make sure that like when I'm here, like I'm here. And I think that intentionality of like, I want to make sure that when I do it, I'm gonna do it with impact, not just minimum requirement, So yes.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you, Jocelyn. Jocelyn said yes, that eye contact is very important. But you're right, when you're doing something, you want to, do it, like you want to go off after that graphic designing on and be on your own. Now you could have did it for someone else for years and years and years, but you have this talent. God's given you the purpose. You have the skills to do it. So you're not going to go in there and do it, today I really don't feel like going in. So I'm not going to do it today.
And I will tell you, in the beginning, I tried, before I was married, I tried starting the business a couple of times, and I did it without intentionality, and I did it like that. Well, maybe I won't, maybe I'll do it when I feel like it. And I failed twice before I was able to start it, and so you are speaking truth. That is very true.
Aha. Right. Yeah. So you have to have that intentionality and you have to be consistent. You can't just, start the day. That's just like, if you're going to exercise. Oh, I'm going to exercise like I'll do often. Oh, I'm going to start walking. So I walk one day, walk the next day, then they said, oh, I think it's raining. I know I can't go out there today. It's going to rain.
I saw a meme the other day that said, I wake up so disappointed when I didn't lose the 30 pounds after eating that salad yesterday. And it's like, what? So anyway, that's exactly it. Consistency and intentionality is
Right.
key. And I would, like I said, I would venture to say, I don't think you can pursue happiness without being intentional and being consistent after pursuing it. And so that's a whole conversation. I think that's a very deep question.
Yep. It's great. People are different. They have various pursuits. They don't have the exact expectations out of any one thing. One person's happiness may be another person's turnoff. That they like to do that. I see them outside every other day in their yard. They're not cutting the yard. They're pruning the flowers. They're cleaning the eaves. They're doing this. Why are they doing that? Because that makes them happy.
Mm-hmm.
They love doing that, not only because it makes their yard look nice, but they enjoy getting out, getting the sun, working and seeing the end results of the work that they put in, and they're doing it consistently. Again. Right? So you were going to say something?
No, I was agreeing with you, yes.
Okay. So what should teens and young adults focus on as they go through different phases of their lives?
You said it earlier, and that really was my response was goals. I think young people, if you don't have a goal, you don't have anything to be intentional about. You don't have anything that you're reaching for. And so I think I would say if you focus on and creating goals because every season of your life you're going to have different goals, and that, I'll go back to that conversation that when I was listening to Shannon Sharp, this interview that he was doing, he said that when he went from high school to college, he's like, that was a new set of goals. He's like, I graduated high school, I'm in college, there's a new set of goals. He's like, when I made it to the NFL, that's a new set of goals. And so that when you focus on and you make goals during different seasons of your life, you work towards those goals, you meet those goals, and you set new ones. And you begin to focus on, and the Bible talks about keeping your eye on the prize, right? Mm-hmm. Keeping your eye on the don't let it distract you. Don't be distracted by the chaos, right? Like we said earlier, life is gonna throw things at you, and it's up to us to be consistent, be intentional, and not be distracted by people or by circumstances or situations. And I can tell you that I'm from experience that the distractions are only there to not to slow you down, but to stop you. And if you let them, they will. And if you get discouraged, it's up to us to and I don't know if this is, but to get people around you that will encourage you when they see that you're kind of slowing down a little bit. They'll, hey, you all right? You good? You doing good? And just kind of get people around you that are going to build you. And I think that's another part of, like, when we talk about with young people, is they're putting the wrong people around them. Mm-hmm. They're surrounding themselves with people who are bringing them down as opposed to building each other up. And I can tell you, when I was maybe 4th or 5th grade, I found a friend of mine that I'm still friends with to this day. And we grew up together, and his family is their background is he has a lot of people that are in gang members in his family. So they're a family of, like, their specific gang, right? And my family, my mom's from Mexico, my dad's from El Salvador, so I'm new to the country relatively. I was born here, but at 4th grade, I'm still learning things, about the culture and stuff. And so when I met him, I remember having conversations at 5th and 6th grade that, man, we're not going to sell dope. We're not going to go smoke weed like the guys at the basketball court that are smoking weed and can't run up and down the court. You know, they don't have the lung capacity. We purpose to help each other at a very young age. I'm thankful that I didn't do this intentionally, but I'm thankful that I met my friend, a brother to me, and that we developed a relationship to the point that we help each other stay out of trouble, and we helped each other focus. Say, hey, we're trying to get out of here. We're not trying to stay here. We're trying to get out. We're trying to get out of this area. We want to, and I feel like, yeah, we both made it out. And that's because I had somebody there that challenged me when I did something that we agreed we weren't going to do. I would challenge him when, hey, we're not supposed to be doing that. We're not supposed to be going over there. And we kept each other kind of accountable, and we kept each other in line, if you will, just for the sake of keeping to that goal of getting out of here and being able to come back and make an impact in our community. But we can't do it if we don't get out of here, first.
That's right.
Yeah, that kind of went everywhere, but I hope that answered the question.
No, that was good. That's very good. And Jocelyn says that's right. Surround yourself with people who will build you up. And that was dead on, because they probably get tired of me talking about it, but on Build Your Best Life, I have 5 building materials. That very first one is associates. You have to be careful of those people that you have around you. And that doesn't matter if it's family members, neighbors, whoever it is. You only want people around you that are good for you. They're trying to go in the same direction you're going. Hopefully that's up and trying to pursue happiness. So that was dead on.
Yeah. And I think this Sunday, somebody at church, I don't know if it was pastor or somebody said, they brought this quote back up, is, if you're the smartest person in your circle, find you another circle.
Hey,
you need to learn, you need to grow, so you can't learn if you're the top dog,
That's right. Yep, that is exactly right. I love it. Well, Paul, can you tell us what is the best way for parents and guardians, and that can be your neighbors, coaches, whoever, to assist our young people in pursuing happiness as they strive to build their best lives?
I think the best thing that we could do as grown-ups, I think, if you're mentoring somebody, if you're wanting to pour into young people, just be there, just show up. I think we underestimate the power that we have, that showing up has. When my kids see me show up to their recitations or their recitals or whatever they have going on, they're excited. They tell me beforehand, "You gonna be there? You gonna be there? Where you gonna sit at?" They're excited. And
right.
I have some of the. So last year I said I substituted at the school, and where my wife teaches, and I didn't do that this year. But when I went to the football game a couple weeks ago, some of the kids were like, "Hey, Mr. Santos, are you gonna come? Are you gonna come back next week? Are you gonna come back?" And I wasn't there for them, but the fact that I was there, they were like, maybe their parents weren't there, or maybe they didn't have their support system there. So the fact that, will you show up? And I think as adults, we underestimate how much that meant to us as kids when we had that person that we looked up to show up. How much that means that we have people that will show up for you and just to be there for you. And those kids might not say anything to you. They might not even acknowledge that you're there, but they see you. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing that is I think it's underestimated, underrated, I guess, is just showing up and being there for young people, as parents, as mentors, as just an adult in general. If you ever have a young person in your life, grandparents, uncles, I don't do it as much, but I try to be there for a lot of my niece and nephew stuff. A lot, I'm there for my kids, and I try to be there for the youth at our church when they have stuff going on. I'm not perfect, but just try. We be intentional about showing up.
Yeah. Yes. Thanks. Showing up is very, very important, because it may be a time when you can't show up, but when you can, and sometimes it's so sad, you see the same kids.
Yes.
that they never have a parent. The parents never on a field trip, never at a program or whatever. But my youngest son is 31, and he recently got a promotion on this job, and they had a ceremony for everyone that got the promotion. And it happened to be during the time that I was going to be on a cruise. And he called me up and he says to me, "Mom," I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you realize that this is the first special thing that's happened to me in my life in 31 years that you haven't been at?"
Wow.
I said, "No, I said, I already feel bad. Don't make me feel any worse."
So thanks for the guilt trip. Wow. Yeah. See, that's, I mean, and at 31, right? He's still a kid at heart when it comes to those things. Like, you gonna be there?
Yep. And he remembers all those times. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
So I believe that, those nuggets that you have dropped tonight were some wonderful ones about the communication, being there, the humility, making good decisions, and associations, those people that you have around us. All of these things are great. And again, we're going back to, reaching out for your goals and your pursuit of happiness, because like I said, everybody should want to be happy. Everybody should want to see your goals and aspirations, your passions come to fruition, So, when you wake up, what's the first thing you think about? Is something that you like to do. If I told Paul, you know what, you can't do graphic design anymore, he'd probably say, has she lost her mind? No. It's like Coach says, you want to be like, it's a day that you don't have a job you don't have to take a vacation from, because this is what you love to do. And it's not, it doesn't make you hate going to work, because believe me, it is horrible when you get up in the morning and you're like, I really don't want to go to work. I hate going to that place. So you want to be able to pursue happiness, figure out early in life what it is that you want to do so you can work towards that. Because, some jobs or even extracurricular activities, you can't just jump in them and start doing them right off the cuff. You got to work up some skills. You got to, some things take years and years and years. So you want to kind of think about those things, but pursue happiness at all costs that are not risky behaviors or whatever. But we want to do things that are good for us, good for the people around us. And we're taking the time to think about what it is that we're doing.
Amen.
Yeah. So Paul, you have any closing thoughts that you want to give us, or anything that you're doing that you want to tell us about, or anything?
Yeah. So one of the we're talking about the pursuit of happiness, and one scripture I wanted to share, because I think that was kind of the thing that for me that I would want to get across is James 1:2 says to count it all joy. Mm-hmm. And I kind of when you're going through various trials, count it all joy. And it's like, why would I count going through a trial joy? Like that sounds like a very not a good time. But what he was saying was because when you're going through these things, the trying of your faith produces patience or endurance. And then when endurance or patience has had its perfect work, when it's had its perfect work, then you are made perfect or complete and lacking nothing. And so when we talk about like depression, or we talk about like people that, you're living a life where you wake up and you just hate going to work, and you hate and you hate and you hate, and there's just this negativity around your life, as you're going through things, right? And as you're going through these different trials, because we're not exempt. No human is exempt from going through anything, Right. But as we're going through these things, like count it all joy, because as you're going through this, you're gonna learn something from this trial. You're gonna grow from this. You're gonna come out at the other end, and you're gonna be better for it at the very end if you learn and take what you learned and apply it, right? And so that's why he's saying count it all joy, is because you're going through this hard thing, but man, it's to make you better. You're going to come out on the other end a stronger, wiser, much better person, and then you can turn around and help somebody else that's going through the same thing, right? How many times have you been through something and one of your friends like, man, I'm going through this, man, let me tell you what I did, let me tell you what got me through, and we're able to then become like living testimonies to other people about what God did in our lives, and we're able to not just now pursue just happiness. Now we're able to grow in our joy and grow and become that, like, man, like, why is that dude always smiling? Why is he always in a good mood? Man, you don't know what I went through to get this smile. You don't know what I went through to get this joy in my life, and I think that's what I think I would want to get across is count it all joy as we're pursuing happiness, as we're pursuing these things, because trials will come. And it's going to get hard, and you're going to want to quit. You're going to want to do these things, but keep counting it joy. Let that trying of your faith produce endurance. And as I'm hearing Chris Gardner's story, like the trials that he went through produced an endurance in him that he was able to push through the mess and keep pushing. People left his life. He kept pushing. He failed and kept pushing because that trying made him wiser, made him smarter, made him, he wanted it more. So he studied more, and he wanted it more. So he pursued it. He chased the people in there, at the football game. He's like, I went to your house and I apologize for missing the meeting. And he's pursuing it so much that he's like, I'll show it to your doorstep. I don't care.
Right.
That came with, I'm tired of being sick and tired, so I'm going to do what people think is crazy and just show up and I want it that bad, and I think those trials made him get to the point where he was doing things that I feel like had he not done those things, he probably wouldn't have got the job.
That's right.
So anyway, I just count it all joy because your trying of your faith produces patience. And when you let patience have its perfect work, you're made complete. You're whole.
Yeah.
Lacking nothing. So anyway, that's all I have.
That's awesome. All right. Count it all joy. That's great. Thank you so much. But that puts the icing on the cake right there. That was great.
Thank you for doing what you do. This is amazing, and I love it.
Well, thank you so much. I love it. Yes. Okay. Thank you, everyone that tuned in today. I hope you enjoyed this, and this is one of those broadcasts that you can share, because there are a lot of people I think would benefit from hearing this message. And I know this is one of those that I'm going to look at again. This was one that was very, 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 very meaningful. The Pursuit of Happyness, because sometimes I come up with these topics and it's like, I know they're probably going to say, well, why did she come up with that one? But, the message is in the madness. That was a great story. So, everyone, please make sure that you tune in Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Thursday Live with Coach Deborah. And my topic is going to be, does it match? Does it match? So check us out then. As always, please check out my website, which is www.buildyourbestlife.org. www.buildyourbestlife.org. On there, you can read the blog that comes out each Monday at 10 a.m. You can look at the calendar of events. Of course, in about 2.5 weeks, we have our Grateful Conference coming up, and it's always an exciting time. So that's going to start November 13th and run through Thursday, November 16th. So check that out. As well, go to the services that I offer. I am a life coach, so I offer consultations, coaching. I do webinar speaking, and of course, I wrote my book, Build Your Best Life. And it's about your life, your actions, and your credibility, overcoming obstacles and building your best life. So if you go on the website, you can get your autographed copy of the book very quickly. If you like the Kindle version, you can go on Amazon.com. But please make sure that you like my Build Your Best Life page and subscribe to my YouTube page. And I hope that you all, be anyone new on here, that you'll come back. And definitely look for Paul in 2024. He will be back, if the Lord's will.
I will be back.
All right. So thank you so much. So everybody, again, thank you for tuning in, because you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us here on Build Your Best Life. Sister Yvonne Whitfield says, love the encouragement, count it all joy. Right. And remember, as you go along your busy day, you may encounter a young man that has lost his way. Don't shake your head. Don't steady your pace. Stop, reach out, and give that young man a helping hand. If we all reach out and help, we can help that many more people. Please remember that building your best life is our business. That is not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. And I will be looking for you on Thursday. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you, Paul.
Oh, thank you.